You're such an asshole.
I had it here. Here it is. Here it is. I apologize. I had crappy audio before and video. So I don't know if it's the internet issue or Linux. I believe it is the internet issue. I know may shock you, gentlemen, and the two ladies in the audience that South Dakota internet may not be what it is. But let's try again about this guy's kind PSA announcement about installing Linux. Hi, Cappy. Should be an easy, quick one video request. As a PSA, I just wanted to inform you and your audiences regarding the wonders of AI-based chat GPT large language models in facilitating the switch over to and subsequent usage of most/all mainstream Linux desktop distributions, for example, Mint, Ubuntu, and Debian, etc. These AI models have extensive training on these since most have been around for a decade apiece at this point. You can ask it very oddly specific questions, including troubleshooting a specific piece of hardware, trying to find where equivalent feature of X Windows exists in Linux distribution Y. But here, just for you Linux people out there, stop using things like distros or images. If you want to succeed in getting people to leave Windows, you need to use the Windows terminology that 98% of the people normies use and say operating system, not distro. I know it's distributions. I know it's distros, but operating systems. That's what you got to say. We're finding the equivalent software of X on Windows exists in the Linux operating system of Y, assuming they exist there too, and so on. This should assist with flattening out the learning curve quite considerably. Most of the current GPT providers offer free tiers, including ChatGPT, Claude, and Perplexity, among others. You can also use something like Google's Gemini or Microsoft's Copilot 2, which you guys can all look up the websites there if you want to use those, which have been increasingly incorporated into their respective search engines. All AI, large language models, and GPT are basically just search engines on steroids, which consolidate the information in one place rather than having to sift through multiple links and sources. So use that to your advantage here. Cheers, regards, Anon. I will say everything you said has been my experience and true. In the previous video, that was probably really poor audio and crap. No, it wasn't. Probably it was, because I watched it. I'm like, oh, we got to redo this. I likened it to when I try to fix a car. All right. The auto repair community on the internet is dog shit. Most people are assholes where it's like, hey, what kind of oil do I look it up in the manual? We're going to look it up in the manual. Well, then why are you here? Why do you have a discussion forum on repairing this particular car, this particular motorcycle, if you're just going to be dicks about it? And then the videos for auto repair range, but most of them are on the, again, mandatory heavy metal 3-minute opening. I do my baby boomer opening to piss everyone off because it's funny. Plus, I like Great One. But these guys, they do it because they think they're cool. And it's just like, okay, fine, let's get through it. Hey, we're gonna be like that. And almost invariably, it's not lit up. They're doing it by hand. They're shaking all over. They don't have lights, so you can't see what they're doing anyway. The videos are completely worthless, is what I'm saying. With Linux, that is not the case. If you look up something on ChatGPT, it's usually the first whatever Google AI is, in addition to saying that George Washington was black, right off the bat, the answer has always worked. Like, that's the end. Do this, type in this code into the command prompt of Linux, and it should install it. And I was saying and corroborating what he said, dealing with Linux problems has been a fraction of the pain in the ass that's been dealing with Windows. Just now, because the video I did beforehand was crap video, I went back. I just said, okay, well, update Linux. Let's see if it's Linux. So I updated Linux. I still think it's the internet or StreamYard, right? There's it's either my computer, the streaming service, or the internet provider. I haven't had troubles before, but I just updated Linux. I had to go back like, oh, crap, I'm way back to widescreen again. What happened there? It lost my audio. What happened there? So a strike against Linux when I updated it. it lost all my settings. So we're now at a 98%. But by far, this is for all you normies out there, Linux has been way better than dealing with Windows. And keep in mind, I haven't even tried Windows 11. From what people have been telling me, it sounds horrible. They changed the interface. It slows your computer down. It just sounds like a nightmare, not to mention it costs you a lot of money. So again, I'll tell you, Linux is like this sweet, doting, kind housewife that's like just wants to cook for you and have sex with you. Whereas Windows 11, again, is the large, herpes-infected, thrice divorced, single mom of 6 kids, 2 of which are only related to one another, debt-ridden, Marxist communist. If you can't handle me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best. Nagging shrew. It is an insufferable operating system and company to deal with, and Linux has just been a joy. Link below. If you have Linux Mint, I didn't know this, but the people, they don't get paid to do it. They do it because they're a hatred of Microsoft. Or maybe they're real nerds and geeks. So I have linked below a donation button to Linux Mint. Look it up. You could go to their website, toss them a couple bucks if you've used Linux Mint or you just want to help them out. I'll be donating money there, but also send them a thank you because this has improved. If you want, your life can be improved with this free product significantly. You'll be less annoyed. And there are very good things in this world that come for free. And this is one. And this is like you come home, also there's this nice, sweet, obedient housewife that's hot. Just like, oh, can I have sex and make you food? And you're like, where's the penis? Where is it? Where is it underneath? It's underneath your dress, isn't it? All right. Let's see if the audio is any better. Linux flavor, I enjoy the Mint. I got the one that feels like Windows without the crap. Mint is fantastic. Think it take people, but how is it? Can you guys say, hey, Swallow, how you doing, buddy? Hope you're doing well. Not even close. Android is heavily modified. It's incompatible with Linux. How is it? Hey, Zaranx, how are you, man? It's been a while. $5. I never thought I'd see Cappy bend the knee to the man. Which distro funny? Hang on. I'm off again. Always fucking with you. Which distro is fun to you? Linux shell, by the way, which version is best for gaming? Boo the shell. I don't know about gaming. Now, keep in mind, I did go to computer networking school like 15 years ago. I had the better part of a year under my belt. So I'm not completely hopeless. And I have had Linux before. Linux was fine back in the day. I think I used Ubuntu. And then I heard Ubuntu is the African thing for free shit for lazy people. I'm like, nah, fuck that. No, I'm not doing Ubuntu. Mint came out, and I installed Mint on a couple computers several years ago just to, can I do it? That's what I'm using, Mint Cinnamon, because it works. I would say Mint is probably the most Windows-like. I think that would be the one for you normies to consider. But that's not to say you can't use others. But if you are just look, save yourself the money. If you got an old, right? Everyone's got an old laptop. Everyone's got an old computer. You ain't using no more. Practice on that. You want to, I have a video out on how to create a bootable Linux Mint thumb drive like this. You're not using that computer. Try it. Give it a shot because Linux takes a fraction of the resources that Microsoft does. And if you just use your computer for streaming Amazon and doing email, by the way, you can use the same programs, Firefox or whatever your browser is. Most of it's browser based. Just all you're doing is changing the operating system. All that changes is the icons and the way the mouse, the little pointer is shaped. And you don't have to spend $500, $600, $700 on a new computer. You don't have to throw your old computer away. You just turn it into a Linux computer, and it comes with Firefox. I'm going to switch to Brave, though, inevitably, and tell me if it doesn't work. Even me having to stream, this requires a little bit more work than the average person has to. I would love nothing more than to see Microsoft have to say, oh, crap, we missed our fourth quarter earnings of 2025 because all the normies decided to just switch to Linux and they found out we don't need it. Plains, thank you very much, Plains. I appreciate. Hey, if you're ever in town, let me know. I owe you a drink or a cocktail or cigar or something. Thank you. Let's go to the super chats and switch over. Thanks for the help, everybody. Let me know. Commodore Jensen. What was it? Well, then make me a general, sir. Patience, my dear boy. Patience. If you say so, sir. Oh, I do. I do indeed. Exalted example, $5. Nabara equals good for gaming. Okay, so there's your operating system, your Linux version operating system for gaming. Nobara on Linux exclusively since January 2024. Haven't hit a game yet I couldn't play. Linux usually doesn't run games with anti-cheat. I've heard nothing but good stuff about most of the games will play on whatever variation of Linux you have. I know a lot of you want your games out there. And I'm going to assume we're not talking the super high-end new games that need to have a crazy graphics card either. I am a somewhat leisurely medium player. I don't have time to play full-time. So, yeah, I mean, even for you gamers, there you go. Give it a shot. Look, you want to, again, not a Democrat, but you want to fight against the evil corporations? Well, let's start. Could you imagine if normies just all, like, not all of them, but 20% of personal PCs just went to Linux, which more than 20% can, and it's not as in, please just look, all I'm asking you to do is go out with this Asian girl with the big boobs. That's it. That's all. But she's not white or she's not black. I know. Just give the Asian girl a shot. That's all I'm saying. I'll tell you this, you're going to spend less time installing Linux on your computer than you would just an average day getting ready, going out, coming back. I'm talking a short date, like a coffee date, 2 hours. You can have everybody has an old computer, right? You all have an old computer you haven't used, which you should probably install Linux on anyway to clear out and reformat the hard drive so none of your personal data is on there. What do you got to lose? Come on. All right, there you guys go. Commodore Jensen, $2. Linux has a Dumbo curve. Makes sense. It's clean. Like anyone can use it. I think anyone can use it. This is totally within normie land. I had to tweak a couple things because of this computer and that, or this microphone and that camera, but it worked. It worked. All right, there you guys go. Questions, answers, asshole consulting. I'll see you guys later. Toodles.